Milo! Oh, we're gonna put the veggies in the oven. That's the beauty of being a woman. Every day you wake up with a different body. The simpler I've realized I like my life to be. I like things to be simple. I am a bit of a loner and I don't have a problem with it. It's a quiet Sunday at home. My kids are not here. And I am mentally preparing for my trip. My daughters are on a trip with their father and they will be gone for 10 days. My mom is also on a trip, but it's only for the weekend. She'll be back on Monday. But I've been working a lot lately. I mean, I work every day, Monday through Friday. It's not like it's like self-employed work where you can work more or less. But what I mean by working a lot is I feel like my whole life has been revolved around work and coming home and doing housework. A pet is a lot of work. I've come to realize. My mom had cats while we were growing up, but it was her decision. She liked having them, and I loved them. But as a kid, we didn't really have to do the responsibilities. We didn't have the chores of like cleaning the litter box and all that. We just had the fun part. So as an adult with a full-time job and a full household and a kind of an OCD-ness way of keeping my house, as you can see, it's kind of a lot of work to have to clean that litter box every single day. Otherwise the house just smells and it bothers me because I know my house is not dirty. I know that I'm not dirty. I like my house to smell, if not clean, then neutral at the very least. I spent about 45 minutes outside in the blistering Miami humid heat, cleaning with a hose and some dish soap the area rugs because my cat has thrown up on them. So I spray them and I put like a little paper towel on there just to kind of like keep the nastiness under control until I can actually do that. So I take some dish soap to it and I hose it down with, you know, the jet setting on the hose. And I was also hosing down with Clorox, the litter box. And I decided to clean my whole back terrace, kind of like sprayed it down with the hose really well to get all the dirt out and kind of swept things out. And that's why I'm like this. I kind of mop my way from, you know, the back of the house through the kitchen, and then from the front of the house down to the middle hallway, which is this way, and into my room. I mop myself into a corner into my room, and as the floor is drying, I take a shower. So I'll see you guys after my shower. Coming home to a house that smells like cat litter and cat pee and poop is not fun for me. So I have to clean it every single day. And then by cleaning, I mean like scooping it out, obviously. I refill some of the litter as it starts to kind of run out. I have to eventually completely empty the litter box, throw out all the litter that's in there, clean it with Clorox and soap outside with a hose, dry it off, and then put fresh litter. That is cleaning it. And that is something that I try to do at least every few weeks. But again, it's a lot of work. I've been putting him on a little bit of a diet, like a calorie restriction diet, because he's been getting kind of fat. Because he has a food bowl that just, you know, it's like it's a food bowl connected to like a big container, and you fill a container, and as he eats, the food just keeps coming down. There's no timer, it's not electronic, it's just, that's how it functions. And so he eats all day long, he nibbles all day long, and he's too fat. I've decided to stop filling that container. I just go to the actual bag of food, take a big scoop, and I put that in his bowl, and that's what he has for 24 hours until the following day, and I do the same thing again. So I feed him every day. I clean his litter box every day. I have to do a thorough cleaning every few weeks. His water bowl is the same as the food bowl, but I keep that full because, you know, he can drink as much water as he needs. But it does get gross. He gets bits of food in it, so I have to like completely undo the whole thing and clean it out entirely and refill it. You know, clean it with hot water and soap because the bowl gets slimy and gross. He's a lot of work, and he's not your typical cat where he just kind of like hangs around and just watches what you're doing. No, he's like a dog. He follows you around. He always wants you to play with him and do something with him. I just need a break. I need a bit of an escape. I decided to take a little trip myself, and I'm not going to say where because I don't like to do that until after I've come back from the trip, just in case. You don't want crazy random strangers following you. I do have 333 subscribers, and I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you. I don't know if you watch it regularly. Sometimes we subscribe to channels and we watch their videos periodically or whenever they pop up, or sometimes we don't, but sometimes we subscribe to someone's channel and we watch it like religiously. Like every time they come up with a new one, we want to see it. And I don't know, you know, if my followers do that or just a handful of them, but whoever you are, even if you're just watching this one for the first time, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. I'm not monetized. I'm brand new to all of this, but I like to share, you know, little tidbits and information and knowledge and that I've gone acquiring over the course of my life. And I am a bit of a loner, and I don't have a problem with it. I actually enjoy it. I like it. I like to do things my way. I'm quite particular. I think the way that I do things works for me, and if it doesn't work for me, it's a learning process for me that I actually also enjoy. I like to become good at things, at least at things that I'm interested in. Anyway, since I'm gonna go away on a trip, it's only gonna be for a few days, 5 days. So out of those 5 days, obviously the first day and the last day is mostly spent traveling, driving, airplane, going pretty far away from here. I wanna get far away from here. And the 3 days in between is primarily, you know, the meat of the trip. It's really just 3 days. And it's sort of a spiritual retreat for me. It's not an actual spiritual retreat. It's not like you're going to sign up for some thing that, you know, everybody's going to be there. No, it's just me and a specific location that's quite remote that I want to spend time alone in. And it's just for me to re-energize my batteries. I do spend a lot of time alone in my house, but again, it's not a change of scenery. It's always the same thing, and it's always work. I come to my house and I always find something that needs to be cleaned or something needs to be done. Like this right here right now is too messy for me. That's a bit of a mess. I don't know why I've had that there for so long. I guess it's just stuff that I don't want to forget. The majority of my, you know, mess is this little area right here. This is where I keep all my important paperwork. Right now I have my vitamins laid out because that way I don't forget to take them. I just had breakfast, a late breakfast, because it's almost lunchtime, and I have not taken any vitamins yet. So I'm preheating the oven because I don't cook all that much. Not that I don't know how to cook, not that I don't like to cook, but I live very close to my mom. And my mom knows, you know, I work 9 to 5, I have a long commute. I commute at least an hour every single morning and every single afternoon, and on some days an hour and a half. So it can be anywhere between 2.5, sometimes 3 hours a day. And then having teenage girls and the messes, if you know what it's like to have teenagers, and the fact that they don't always listen to you, and, you know, homework and grades and taking them to tutoring and all these things, you know, after school activities and whatnot. It is not easy. Coming home and making sure, hey, did you guys shower? Did you do your homework? Did you do what you had to do? I try to give them some chores to do. I do. Like take out the trash or take the trash bin to the curb. Sometimes they do it. Sometimes I do it just to get it over with. But, you know, cleaning the litter box, it can be quite messy because the litter box is contained in this, like, let me show you. It's contained in some sort of, it's like a cabinet. So he goes in through this little thing. I put a curtain to help with the smell. And inside, you'd have to pull out the litter box. Those two little contraptions that you see in there, that one and that one, help with the dust and the smell. Just opening it, it smells already. And I just cleaned it last night. Not yesterday morning, not yesterday afternoon, last night, like late at night. It's now afternoon. What time is it? It's 2:30 in the afternoon and it already smells bad. So I am working on, I'm gonna add these little sausages. I've had some stuff frozen because I haven't been cooking very much lately. And I've had this stuff frozen for a while. So I am working on some Brussels sprouts and red onion and tomatoes and some garlic and some chopped up scallions, pretty much whatever I had, right? If I had carrots, I'd throw it in there too. I'm also cooking some sausages that I had, pre-cooking them because I don't think it would work if you put them all together in a pan that you intend to put in the oven. Then the vegetables will cook far quicker than the meat, and the meat might still be raw, and the veggies might still be, well, might actually overcook and burn. So I went ahead and I cooked the meat separately, so it's fully cooked. And then I'm gonna put the vegetables in the oven for a little while to kind of get them started with the cooking process. And then after that, before they start to really get nice and roasty toasty, I plan to throw the sausage in there to make it like one whole complete dish and just wait for it to finish roasting so that all the flavors kind of marinate together. And I have to put some of those dishes away. It's a quiet Sunday at home. My kids are not here and I am mentally preparing for my trip. And I am meal prepping with the food that I had left over in my freezer. And I'm trying not to buy any groceries. It's hot in here. My face is flushed. It's probably because I was cooking. Trying not to buy, I didn't buy any groceries, so my fridge looks like, you know, a frat house fridge because I don't want anything to rot and spoil while I'm away on my trip. And then when I come back, I'll just replenish. I always make it a habit as well, or at least I try to make it a habit to make my bed when I wake up in the morning, even on the weekends, even if nobody's gonna be here. Like, there's my bed, it's made. I notice that when I don't make it and I'm just walking around and I come in and out of my room, I see it and it makes me feel like I'm a slob, and it just kind of makes me feel like I can't achieve things, like I wouldn't be successful at what I want to do because I don't finish what I start. So little things like that just kind of set my mindset up for success, if that makes any kind of sense. It's really weird, but I have here some of my outfits for where I'm going. I don't want to reveal too much information, but it is going to be a nature setting. And yes, there's going to be hiking involved. I have recently discovered that I like to hike. And hiking is basically walking. But you can just walk on pavement, you can walk on flat terrain, or you can walk on, you know, easy inclines or very hard inclines where you are literally rock climbing. No, I don't plan to do the really, really hard stuff. I don't know, we'll see. Because they tend to be also very long. I don't want to do anything that's more than like a mile or two at a time. But I do plan on taking several different trails throughout the 3 days that I'll be there, hoping to try to do as many trails as I can throughout the day. And I have my sun protection, and these are actually long sleeve shirts that are made for the heat and the sun. These are like SPF 50 UV ray protected. And I have also, I don't know where it is right now, I think I have it put away. It's like a little bandana that you tie, because in this area here, when I drive to work, I don't know if you can kind of tell, you can see it. This little area is where my uniform stops, and it gets a lot of sun. And even though I try to put SPF, it still, you know, it burns up. Right now I'm pretty red. I don't know what is happening right here. I just woke up with that. I slept till noon today, which is not common for me. And I think it's because my body knows what it's about to go through. This trip is not going to be like relaxing on a beach with a margarita. It's gonna involve a lot of strenuous physical activity, but it's of my choosing. And it's like, you know, the rewards of running a marathon, and then all of a sudden it's like, I made it, woohoo, and then you get that feeling of success, and then you can sit down and relax and relish in the joy of your achievement. I've hiked a few times in my life. 2017, I hiked in Acadia National Park. I'd never done it before. I was following someone who was like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm climbing like rocks that are like, you know, when you take a step and you're going upstairs, if you take like 2 at a time or 3 at a time, you really gotta bring your knees up to like your chest and like grab onto something and pull yourself up. It was that kind of hiking. Like there were boulders and rocks. But it was in the Northeast, so there was forest as well, but it wasn't very humid. It was a very nice climate. And I'm like, this is hard. I'm like, hang on, wait for me. I've never done this before. Hang on, I don't know what I'm doing. I had hiking boots because he recommended that I get some. And I was wearing jeans, big mistake, you know? Something more elasticy would be better, like leggings or running shorts, something to that effect. I have some stuff already pre-packed to go that's gonna go in my luggage. And then my clothes for the flight is always comfortable clothes. I have to put away some of my uniforms that are over here. When I was doing that hike, I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? This is crazy. This guy's crazy. I've never done this before. But then when I stopped and I finally reached my destination and I sat at the top and I had a good look around, it was stunning. It was beautiful. And I don't know if it was so satisfying or fulfilling because I had hiked so far. I don't know if it was because I had done so much work that it was that much more rewarding to be up there. I think I just didn't know what I was gonna see or feel once I got up there. But once I did, and there's the oven. Be right back. Take you with me here. So we're gonna put the veggies in the oven, minutes, and then we're gonna throw the sausage in there and give it another 10 or so. Let's set the timer. 30. And it's ready. I stood at the top and I looked down a cliff and I could see pine trees and a cliff and like big stone pebble like rocks on a beach, which eventually the pebbles stopped, and then you had sand, and then you had the ocean. There were little flowers and mushrooms, and it was such a magical place to be. And we sat up there for a little while. I sat up there and I just gazed and looked out. Such a peaceful moment. And those quiet, peaceful moments of stillness, when you're just sitting and observing the world that we live in, that was meant to be the way that it was meant to be, not the one we created. You're not overlooking a skyscraper or like a city landscape, cityscape. You're looking at nature, nature's beauty, the way God created the world for us. And you get such a different feeling as compared to when you're just in a city. around people. And yeah, there were other people there also hiking and looking around and taking photos, but they were also quiet, kind of doing their own thing in their moment. But where I'm going is going to be something similar to that effect, but it is not in the Northeast. It is in a different place. And again, I don't want to reveal too much information. I will probably post some videos about that trip, maybe the one after this one. So subscribe so that you know when I have posted that video. You might want to hit that notification bell as well, because that will let you know that I've posted it already, in case you forgot when I post. I try to post every Friday, but last week I had trouble like uploading my video to my phone so that I can then from my phone upload it to the YouTube. Sometimes I use my laptop, but sometimes it's just easier on my phone. I had trouble and I couldn't get it done, and I had to go to work, and this was on a Thursday obviously because I wanted it uploaded on Friday. So now I think my last two videos have posted, the last one and this one, on a Saturday, because of that. And so I think I might start just posting on Saturdays from now on, and that might turn into Sundays if I get really busy. Hopefully, you know, hopefully not. I'm trying to stay on a steady schedule here. But I'll share, you know, some of my experience, you know, going to the airport, and once I arrive, and, you know, my drive safely, you know. I have a way to like prop up my phone with a big selfie stick that turns into like a tripod, so I could kind of like position that in the car in a way so that I can drive and keep my hands and my eyes on the road and still capture some images for you guys. So I'm cooking this food. This will be probably for some eating today and tomorrow. Well, today's Sunday already. Tomorrow's Monday. I do have to work tomorrow, but then the next day is when I'm actually leaving. So this will probably be dinner tonight, lunch tomorrow, and if there's any left over, you can put it in a little plastic container and kind of like take it on the plane. You don't have to buy their food. You're allowed to take some food as long as it's not liquid. I've packed sandwiches and chips and trail mix and cookies and things in my carry-on bag to take on the plane, and no one's ever told me anything. I've never had a problem with it. That's another thing I plan to do, you know, to try to save money. I'm gonna pack in my carry-on some instant oatmeal packets that I like to buy. And I have in a Ziploc bag several of these, and some stevia little packets, and as well some of these little tuna pouches, and I have also some nuts. These guys are pretty good for, you know, being on a trail. So if I can pack some of this stuff in my carry-on. I don't like checking luggage because I think it delays. Like, you gotta go down to baggage claim and you gotta wait for your bag, and it's a pain in the butt. And I try to pack light. I'm not impressing anyone. I'm not on a fashion show here. This isn't a runway show. My mom is the opposite. My mom goes on a vacation and she takes 5 more outfits than what she really needs, just so that she can have options. Like if she was taking her closet, like, you know, if you're gonna go out tonight and you don't know what to wear, you have your whole closet at your disposal so you can try on different options. She also tries to plan out her outfits for each afternoon, evening, daytime, whatever, even down to the swimsuit she's gonna wear and what shoes go with what swimsuit and what hat. And I love you, Mom, but we're different. I'm sorry, but we're just very different. I used to be kind of like that, I guess, because of her influence, right? Like, you grow up and your mom teaches you things and you want to be like her, and so you just do what she says, and, you know, you don't want to disappoint, but at the same time you grow up and you become who you are supposed to be, and you grow into yourself. And the older I'm getting and the more I've lived, maybe it's because I'm tired, but the simpler I've realized I like my life to be. I like things to be simple. I think my outfits are still very cute, but they're very simple. And I pack just enough so that I have at least one emergency outfit. And by emergency outfit, I mean, like, you know, something got dirty and I need a change of clothes, you know, and the night hasn't ended yet, or the day hasn't ended yet. So it's like halfway through the day, I gotta change my clothes. But I don't think I really pack more than one emergency outfit. I guess it just depends on the trip, right? Like, if I'm going to Paris and it's like fashion capital of the world, I might pack a little more, and I might pack, nicer outfits. And then yeah, you want variety, and you want maybe some backup emergency outfits. Like what if one day you wake up and suddenly you're bloated because you had too much sodium the day before? You don't know. So the outfit that you had in mind isn't gonna work with the body that you have today. That's the beauty of being a woman. Every day you wake up with a different body. My cat never lets me film, as you all know. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you will know that he never lets me film. He knows that I'm talking to you guys, and he starts meowing, he starts going crazy for no reason. He's just chilling on his tower. There he is, right there. And for absolutely no reason, he has to interrupt my video. No reason whatsoever. Anyway, I'm gonna finish cooking this stuff, and I have laundry that I'm working on. I've already folded my whites, they're all here. I don't like to leave my house. I have some knitting that I've been working on as well. So yeah, don't laugh at me. I have old lady tendencies. I like to knit. I wanna mop the floors. They look clean, but it's because they're dark. So, but they can get rather dirty, and it's his fault. It's because of him. Because he goes in his litter box and his paws get all dusty, and then he tracks dust all over the place. So he might get a bath today. The litter box has to be completely cleaned out today. I have to take out all the sand, take the box to the backyard, pour some Clorox in there and some soap, and hose it down, and then bring it back inside, refill it with some new litter, and vacuum the area because it's gonna be full of little bits of litter everywhere, and mop the floors, and then maybe give him a bath so that he doesn't dirty my freshly cleaned floors. And my daughter's room is a mess. My daughters share a bedroom because this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And you know, there's my yard, my front yard, and my car. I'm thinking about, should I clean up their room for them like I usually do when they're out with their father, when they're, you know, on their father's time, or should I leave it the absolute slobby mess that it is? I picked up any food items, any cups with liquids, but their beds are not made. They've got clothes entangled with their bed sheets, as well as devices and just all kinds of things. I'm usually one to clean their space. You know, I take off their sheets and I wash their sheets, and I put fresh bed sheets on, and I hang up their clothes or put their dirty clothes in the hamper. I get to their clothes when I can as far as washing it, especially now during summer that they don't have school. They still have other things they can wear, so it's not an urgency. This is stuff that I used to do for myself when I was a kid. Since I was 10, 11, 12, I don't know how old I was. I would vacuum my own room. My room had carpeting. I would clean and dust my own furniture. I would change my own bed sheets. Milo, why? Why don't you ever let me film? Come. You want to take a bath? He never takes a bath in the sink, but I think he knows what a spout looks like, and it kind of freaks him out. What? Just checking, because sometimes he leaves his butt dirty, and then I have to wipe it. What's the problem? There is none. There is no problem. He is just, and he wants all my attention all the time. And then I pick him up, and look, he's trying to push me away. Look at it. Look at his paw. Look at his leg. Why are you pushing me away? Why are you pushing me away? Then stop meowing for no reason. I'm gonna wrap up this video. I've got almost 30 minutes, if not more, of footage here. Obviously, I haven't edited it yet, but the one that you're watching right now has been edited. So I just turn on the camera and I just start rambling, and then I, go back and just edit out some of the awkward pauses and when I speak, and I tend to rub my nose while I'm speaking, and then so it just doesn't work. So I say it again, and then I use that version instead. And this whole filming yourself thing and YouTube thing and vlogging thing is quite weird. It's weird because you are trying to present yourself as authentically as possible, how you really are. I've come to notice that I feel like I jumped on the bandwagon a little too late. Stop! What do I mean by that? I spent years wasting my time, energy, and effort on Facebook and Instagram, posting monologues pretty much of my thoughts and ideas and perceptions of the world and philosophies that I thought of and interpreted, things that we've already thought of in the history of our humanity that I am reinterpreting now for the people, the followers. and I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed it. There was once a time where I wanted to be a philosophy major in college, and someone broke my heart and told me, why do you want to study that? What are you going to do with that? Who's going to pay you to think? That lady completely just killed my spirit, and she's an idiot, because I actually do know people who were philosophy majors and are college professors now, and that could have been me. But I thought, she's right, who's going to pay me to think? And so I didn't pursue it any further, but my whole life has always been like this. I keep to myself a lot, and I think a lot, and I observe a lot, and so I come up with my own conclusions after several different observations and several hours of, contemplating on ethics and morals, what's right, what's wrong, and what also makes sense and what doesn't make sense, and trying to find that balance between serving yourself as well as serving others, right? And what a paradox that is, because if you don't serve yourself, you can't have much to serve others. So being loyal to yourself, or loyal to your thoughts or your ideas, or serving yourself may initially sound selfish, but in reality, you have to be selfish in order to be able to give to others. Because if you have nothing to give, then what purpose do you serve? Like your good energy? All that your good energy is going to do is make another person feel good around you and feel good in general, which will probably give them that push or that drive or that inspiration that they might need in order to do better for themselves. And at the end of the day, when you do better for yourself, that's when you can determine if a person is selfish or not. Are they sharing their wisdom? Are they sharing their knowledge? Are they sharing their abundance that they have gathered from putting themselves first, from taking care of themselves? Are they able to now share it? And I guess that's why I like posting these monologues. I like to share what I know. I know that we all think that I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm just crazy OCD. We all think that what we go through and our problems and our stressors and the things that we think about and our experiences and our traumas are so unique to us, but you'd be surprised. The human being is like a template. And then from that template, like you just skew slightly, and it's slightly individualized based on your experience or based on your thought process or based on your genetics, but even all of those things are somewhat limited. Experiences can only be so wide and so vast and so varied, as well as genetics and thought processes. So to an extent, we've all had similar experiences and similar ways of reacting or responding, whether they be positive ones or negative ones. And yet when we go through our negative experiences like depression, anxiety, trauma, family dysfunction, whatever the case may be, bad relationships, toxic relationships, we internalize it and we think that it's so unique to us that no one else understands, and so we feel alone. And that aloneness with our own crap is what makes us feel hopeless and makes living feel hopeless. And so by sharing and trying to get people to understand that you're not alone, that a lot of people have been through what you've been through, even though there is the lottery of being born, if you're born Paris Hilton, you're not going to struggle with money. But, you might struggle with health issues because money doesn't pick who's going to be healthy and who's not. Money doesn't pick who's going to be successful in love and who's not. As a matter of fact, I'd venture to say that the more money you have, the more unlikely, or the less likely rather, you are to be certain or sure of the person that you're with, because you don't know if they're with you just because you have money. You don't know if they're with you because they genuinely like you, or they like the security that you potentially can provide. And that's, it's not a bad thing to want a partner who can provide some sense of security, especially if you yourself are a person who can also provide that in return. So, together you have a lot of security together. You know that if you can't handle it, they've got it. Or if they can't handle it, you've got it. Like, it's the dream team, right? But if you are one of these people who really have nothing at all to provide, and I'm not just talking about men. I know women out there whose husbands are go-getters and they provide everything, and the woman literally provides nothing to the relationship except maybe making the guy laugh. And if that's all he values and that's all he wants, then fine. But if he didn't have his money, would she still be there making him laugh, is the question. So I feel like I got off on a tangent here. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that we're not alone in our experiences. Almost everything you've experienced, whether it be from the smallest, littlest, weirdest physical human ailment, like a hangnail, you know, down to like asthma or acne or PMS or migraines, physical ailments, all the way to emotional, mental things like depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever, to dysfunctional outside things like relationships with your mother, your father, your siblings, your romantic partners, to achievements like how you do in school, how you've been doing in your career, establishment, you know, security, where are you living, you know, have you secured something for yourself so that you're not on the street? There's so many things in this world that we have to deal with, from our innermost self to our outermost world, that you're not alone. It's likely that whatever you're going through that you think, oh my God, no one's gonna understand it, someone out there has gone through it and understands it, and not just someone, not like 2 or 3 out of the 7 billion people on this planet. No, more like 6.9 out of the 7 billion people on the planet. Like, everyone has experienced what it is to be a human. And while we all have different limiting beliefs and we all have different actual physical limitations or mental limitations, there's a solution to everything, whether it be a medication, whether it be a literal crutch. Okay, you can't walk, you need a walker, you need a crutch, you need some, then you use it. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a solution to everything. We're not all moving at the same pace through life, and that's okay. But by offering information, the people who are willing to be open-minded to it and listen to it are smart. They are going to be ahead, and they are going to be reaching where they want to reach quicker. And it's because they're willing to listen and learn and be open-minded. So I think that's one of the perks of being an introvert, is that by default, you are listening and observing and learning a lot from everyone around you. But you sometimes can feel isolated, and you know that you do it to yourself. And it's also because you are protecting your energy, because for some reason, sometimes other people and exterior factors can be very draining, very exhausting. So this traveling experience that I'm going to be having very soon, I call it a spiritual retreat because I am going alone, and that's why I don't want to say where I'm going until after I've come back. And everyone's worried about me, and I'm thankful that I have people who think about me and are worried about me. But I think I'll be okay. I've traveled alone before, but I've never really traveled alone just for the sake of detaching, disconnecting, and relaxing and experiencing and enjoying on my own. I want to see and know what it feels like to really be on my own. Like, I've taken flights alone to then meet up with friends. I've taken flights alone to stay in a city alone, but for the sake of going to a continuing education conference for my career. Things like that, where it's not solely for the experience. There's like something else. I'm meeting up with friends, or I have a continuing education conference and I just so happen to pick it far away so that I can see a new place. But just getting on a plane to go somewhere just to have an experience and that's it, and come back, is not something I've ever really done. I've always traveled either with someone, or traveled towards people to meet, or traveled for a specific reason that wasn't just for that. So this is kind of the first time, and I think it's good for me because it's gonna give me a glimpse and an idea of what my future is going to feel like, or look like, or be like, if I do decide at some point, once my daughters are in college and I'm an empty nester, if I do decide to do like travel work assignments and just be on my own in a strange city, in a strange place, a new state, new facility, and just do contracted assignments and then go to the next place and the next place, how am I gonna feel about it? How am I gonna feel being in a place all by myself? Because have you ever noticed that sometimes if you're in a room full of people that you don't know, you feel more lonely than if you're just alone, like in a place where you are the only person there? That happens to me, which is why, you know, my mom suggests, why don't you go on a cruise, or why don't you go on an all-inclusive? And I'm like, it makes me feel more lonely to be in a place like that, where you see couples and families. Very rarely do people go to those things on their own by themselves, or groups of friends, and I see them having a good time and talking to one another and just being together, and I'm alone, it makes me feel more alone than if it's just me by myself, you know? And there's, yeah, of course, like random people walking around the streets and whatnot, but it makes me feel more lonely to be in places where people go typically in groups or in couples or as families. I'd rather go somewhere where it's just me and the trees and the birds and the sky and the random people walking on the streets or parking next to you or camping out next to you or whatever, hiking next to you or whatever it is. But I need to know what it's gonna be like to do that for a long period of time. I need to know if I'm gonna feel comfortable with it for 3 or 4 days. So I will post that video for the following. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll catch you guys there. Bye. This is how I get when I get really hot, when I work out. And cleaning a house is like a workout. And I don't think people who clean for a living should be paid so little. Because let me tell you, it's hard. It may not be a mentally taxing thing, but it is certainly a physically taxing thing. So, yeah, I don't know which kind of work I'd prefer. I still gotta do both. I've always cleaned my own house. I don't know why I have a weird guilty feeling when someone is cleaning my house for me if I pay a service. It's almost like, man, they're doing all this hard, taxing physical labor to clean up after my filth. It's just something about it that just doesn't sit well with me. And I can't live in filth, so it's either do it myself or do it myself. It's not really much of another choice now, is there?